Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you're Insomnia, this channel is for you. In this episode, we're going to talk about 3 big steps towards sleeping well. Less sleep anxiety, actually finding that you're sleeping better, and finally, decreasing fatigue. We're going to talk about how you can achieve these steps by committing to change. Hi there, hope you're doing really well today, and something I've been talking about, thinking about for a while that I want to share here that I think is going to be helpful. Basically, it's an observation. What I've been observing is that for very many that are, working with the techniques that I talk about here, mindfulness techniques, ACT, cognitive behavioral therapy, etc., have this pattern again where the first thing that people often tell me is, I'm not really sleeping better, but I'm less anxious. I'm a little bit less worried. And then the following step is noticing some improvements, like, I'm falling back asleep a little quicker, or I'm sleeping a bit more longer, things like that. And then in the final step of feeling less fatigue. And here's why I think this is important. When you start using the techniques I talk about here, and if you're new to the channel, then do check out the first few episodes where really the most basic techniques are described. When you start working with these techniques, it may take a while before you actually start sleeping better. But if you find that within the first week maybe, or even the first days, or maybe the first 1 to 2 weeks or something like that you're a little bit less worried, like sleep is less of a mystery. You kind of understand why you have trouble sleeping. You're seeing that, you're learning that short sleep has not been shown to cause any health problems. Insomnia has not been shown to cause any health problems. You're getting a little bit less anxious. You're not sleeping any better. But when you're starting to feel less anxious about sleep, that is actually a big step, because that first step is followed by better sleep. I see that all the time. So when you're feeling less anxious, hold on to that and just kind of keep going. And then typically what you find next is that, you're starting to sleep a little better. But here comes the question I often get then. In this stage, people ask me, I am sleeping better, but I don't feel any different. I still feel really fatigued. And we're going to talk more about this tomorrow, because there's a question from a viewer that really dovetails into this. But what I believe is happening is that when we have active insomnia, we're in this like hyper aroused state, like we're anxious, we're like hyper is going on, like mind is really running quickly. And that actually masks fatigue. So, you have insomnia, you feel really tired, but you actually are more tired than you think in a way, because that kind of hyper aroused state is masking how tired you are. When you start sleeping better, that's partly because that is because the hyperarousal is going down. So that kind of unmasks fatigue. And I believe that is why that last step is the last step, because it takes a while from the time where your hyperarousal comes down, you're starting sleeping better, but you don't start feeling less fatigued for a while because your hyperarousal keeps going down, and it unmasks, and it has been masking fatigue. So I believe that's why we have this progression. So I hope this is helpful to get to the first step. Really commit to the techniques I talk about here. Commit to spending less time in bed, learn about insomnia, learn about sleep, and when you find that first step is happening to you, you're feeling less anxious, less worried about sleep, but you're not sleeping better, hold on to it and just keep going, and you'll get better and better. If you have a question, please leave a comment or send me an email, daniel@insomniainsight.co, and look forward to having you back here tomorrow. Until then, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.